Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. This is a channeling session, May 18th, and I'm going to be channeling a counterpart that I have recently become aware of from the Orion star system, and the being gave me the name earlier, Santi, and we will see what this being has to share. So without further ado, I share my channeling here with you. Thank you for attending this transmission. It is delightful to speak across space-time to your reality framework. I speak to you from what you would consider to be your ancient past, a time that, compared to your time, would be eons upon eons upon eons ago, well before humans incarnated upon the earth. Now, there are a great deal of messages that I have to share about my people, about my culture, in relationship to many themes that your cultures of contemporary Earth are exploring. Your Earth, in many ways, is, as many of you already know, overcoming, transforming, transitioning from paradigms of fear to paradigms of love. And one of the things we're going to highlight to you is that many of you feel this is a process that is sort of automatic or built in and is something you are going along with, as if you're along for the ride. But we are reminding you that you are the ride itself. This process of transitioning from fear to love on a macro global level is only occurring because all of you internally are beginning to transition from fear to love. And the cosmos rearranges itself based off of your energy. So as you are making that change within, you're experiencing that change to varying degrees occurring externally. Now, we also understand that that's not the case for many of you in terms of what you may be perceiving in relationship to your external reality. We understand at these times many of you may be encountering fear-based experiences, negative experiences, and we wish to remind you that it's up to you to make that transition. Understand you are being given right now an opportunity to change in a way that's very accelerated, in a way that's very unique, unlike anything any of you have really ever had within your lifetimes thus far. And in this energy of change, you have the ability to direct that change flow, and it will go where you desire it to go. And what we mean by this is, if you desire to remain in fear, if you desire to not express the love that you are, then the collective change you're experiencing will reflect more of that fear. And that will begin to snowball and intensify as more time goes on. And that is your right to be able to create that. You are allowed to create that, and many of you are choosing to create that to varying degrees, varying levels. You also have the ability to create realities of unconditional love by choosing to embody and resonate at the frequency of unconditional love. And that's up to you. That is your choice. And as you adorn that frequency, that then becomes more of what you experience. And there are gradations between the two. And what you call your ascension process is something in that way that is custom built by you for you. So depending on the energies you are embodying currently, that will determine what your Earth's ascension process is to you. So if you have one foot in fear, one foot in love, you'll notice that your external reality narrative will begin to wobble to reflect that. You'll notice collective positive things, collective negative things, collective positive things, collective negative things. Should you be both feet in love, two things will likely begin to happen for you. You will notice a great deal of positive experiences in your local reality, in your collective reality, and that which you consider to be the negative experiences will really cease to have any type of effect on you at all in relationship to how you experience them. And this has to do with the idea that as you choose to vibrate with the frequency of love and joy, it's as if you are splitting off from the fear potentialities. So when you see other people embodying those fear energies, it's as if they're in an entirely different paradigm of reality that doesn't have any ability to impact you or affect you in any way. So you'll notice as you continuously choose love, the things that represent negativity to you will have an incredibly lessening sense of an effect on you and in your life, until it will get to a point where it will be as if you could care less about the negative things. And as you learn to not become affected by these negative things, by choosing not to define them negatively, not to live a life that says this is negative and is impacting me in a negative way, it will be as if you cease to experience them at all. And when you see what you may have called negative in the past, it will no longer be a negative situation. It will actually begin to appear as an opportunity to you for you to accelerate deeper into the realm of love. For those of you that choose more fear, it will in many ways be the opposite. You may find that love-based information actually becomes offensive to you. It may actually become something that you turn away from, because your inner fear-based belief systems are going to become even louder and louder and louder, and they will begin to drown out the voice of love, the sensation of love. And as those beliefs get bigger, it may become more challenging for you to recognize that love is doing everything it can to grab your attention, so you can align with its frequency, thus aligning with the more positive timeline trajectory that is available to you. So this collective evolution process, this ascension process, is really in your hands, and not all versions of Earth ascend this time around. Now, should you choose the fear-based reality, understand that there will be many moments where you will be given a shuffling of the cards collective experience. So what you consider to be your current situation, which is in many ways a shuffling of the cards, should you continue to choose fear, you will eventually be given another shuffling of the cards situation, another collective moment, where you then have another opportunity to choose love. And you'll have another one after that, and another one after that, because in many ways, the Earth desires to ascend regardless of whatever timeline you are on, but it's up to you to choose to embody that love, to experience the version of Earth that ascends. So if you remain in fear and choose to remain in fear, you will be given more opportunities, but each reshuffling of the cards will get more and more and more uncomfortable. So the shuffling of the cards that you're experiencing right now, even though there are in some realities deaths, and there are in some realities businesses closing and other non-preferred things, understand that what you're experiencing now is mild compared to what could be if you do not, in that sense, align with your heart. Because the Earth, as we have said, desires to ascend, so she will do whatever it takes to get your attention, and the wake-up calls will get louder and louder and louder and louder and louder. So it's in your own best interest, in that sense, to choose love. So that way, your quality of life can improve to be more representative of your preference, and the quality of life for your collective will improve. And we understand that this is something that is very desirable for all of you. So we remind you that love is in that way the panacea, the cure-all. When you choose love, all of the things you consider to be problems in your reality, you consider to be issues in your world, become seemingly resolved overnight as if by magic, because that's the nature of love. Love performs miracles. Our civilizations in Orion experienced miracles when we chose to align with love. For eons, our collectives did not align with love at all. Our civilizations were essentially ruled by an archonic overlord that ruled with an iron fist, and your dictatorships on Earth are tiny in comparison to what our experience was. So we and our civilizations experienced the darkest of nights for generations. And that oppression, that restriction amongst the oppressed people generated anger, generated hatred, generated rebellion. And this led to acts that you would consider to be violent rebellion-based acts that ultimately did not go very far, because the rebellious forces in relationship to the empire's forces were small. And it was not until our civilization began to recognize that love was the answer to our dilemma that we then began to shift the energy, and we began to shift the challenges that we were experiencing. Our civilization's story did not have the happiest of ending. And there were many interventions from other realities that assisted us. And there was essentially a mass migration outwards from the system. Both physically, the beings within the system and the clans within the system left as part of the resolution. And many souls from the Orion system migrated then across the universe, some of them emerging on Earth, not all of them. It was love that allowed for us to have the conclusion to our ancient story that we did. And had we aligned with love much sooner, we would have had a more pleasant, more exciting conclusion. However, we chose rebellion for some time. And when we experienced the reshuffling of the cards, we chose rebellion. And when the cards shuffled again, we chose more rebellion. Until eventually we realized the rebellion was digging us deeper. So, we speak to you as ancestors. We speak to you as loved ones. We speak to you as guides. We share our story, which we understand may not be the most pleasant one to hear. We share this with you to highlight some of the key points that ultimately allowed our civilization to have a positive shift, but also we highlight the points that emphasize the fact that we could have made that shift much sooner had we aligned with love much more quickly, thus leading to a more positive conclusion, a much more positive, so to say, end of our story. However, our story technically did not end. It still lives on. It lives on through all of you. And you have an opportunity now to resolve these energies through choosing love here on your earth as your code of embodiment, as your mindset, as your energy. This is for you. This is yours. So make of it what you will by choosing the beliefs that you prefer, by taking the actions that represent those preferred beliefs. You have the power to shift your story in whatever way you choose. So shift your story in the direction that represents your highest dreams and your highest heart. On behalf of your ancestors, our love to you eternally, infinitely, unconditionally.